I've been working with the skin cancer for a long time. And the biggest problem I've had in dealing with it is that the people around me wouldn't believe me that it was skin cancer. And therefore I couldn't get the support I needed. The dog peed on the bed, so trying to deal with my cancer and all of what life brings. But I feel like the biggest stumbling block in dealing with my cancer, it should never have gotten this far, has been the lack of support from the people around me. Because I didn't go to a hospital or a medical doctor and have them poke me in and drill in my fluids and take a test, they didn't believe me. I can Google. I'm living in this body. I've saved my life and rejuvenated my fertility and had a baby at 47. I know what's going on in here. When I was about 32, my boyfriend at the time's father had skin cancer, and he was working with a naturopath who gave him the now famous black salve. It was way ahead of its time back then, and so was he. And I had a place on my forehead that I thought might be cancerous. It had a pore that was taking on a life of its own and changed, and the things they say about cancer. And so I asked him if I could borrow some of the black salve, and it said, like try some on your hand, and if it doesn't do anything, great, but if it burns it, then, it's either cancer or you have a, reaction to it. So that was fine, so I put it on this spot. Coincidentally, the night before I was supposed to testify in a huge trial as an expert. And I woke up the next morning with one of these. And it had burnt a hole this big in my forehead, and there was this size of ink going on around it. So I knew then I had cancer, and I've had some other small run-ins with it. But then I got really healthy. I had my eating my way to heaven experience. I came out of menopause. I had a baby at 47. I've lived the life and build gardens and tell people about it. And I was doing great until KATU and Joyce Enabo bullied us out of our home with lies that they printed and published and broadcast, and they're still out there. And it devastated us. We lost our home, our organic gardens, everything we were building, the television show we had booked on the lawn, the ability to stay healthy, the money we had invested, our plants, our future, our health. She stole all of our belongings, everything Patrick had inherited from his family, from a grandmother clock to a china hutch, 2 couches, table and chairs, magazine rack he had made in high school. She took a baseball bat to my White House Dome Garden art collection, which I had been displaying online for years, and left it out in the rain and gave it back to me to give a message that she was above the law. And she messed with Patrick's father's ashes, his last remains, and she sent police to our house nonstop for 2 years until she was finally arrested and convicted of stalking my son, my 10-year-old son. So cancer is about emotions. And we went from our beautiful home with the organic gardens and a life and a relationship with Hollywood to a Motel 6 that we had to borrow every day to stay off the street. Now living out of a microwave and a coffee pot. And halfway through our year there, my face was open sores. I had to wear Band-Aids. Now it's been 11 months since we got out of the motel. It's taken a while to get the gardens hopping, so we're just now eating the last month or two. And I would be totally pristine in my health like I was when we had the home in Gruesome. Except I've been working the bars and going out in public and doing stand-up comedy for my nonprofit, and they require that you buy things while you're there if you want to, use their club for a stage. So I've been drinking beer and, eating all what I consider all American cancerous food, and here we are. But unlike other cancer patients, I am not the least bit interested in running off to a hospital. If I went to a hospital right now, they would put a needle in this And I would blow up like I did when the last time a surgeon cut on my throat, and by the nighttime it had swollen up and was threatening my life. If they put a needle in this right now, the cancer would fight back and it would fill up my lymph glands and cut off my breathing. There's no pharmaceutical that's going to help this. Denise has to change her life. I'm fasting. I'm drinking baking soda and water. I'm getting oil in so that I'm also lubricated. I'm taking time off, getting some rest. I'm crying and grieving some of the things, like the crimes that have been committed against us, that I have to let go of because it's killing me. Dan Tilkin's now over at Coin, apparently lying about other families. And Joyce was convicted of a crime, but she got to keep all the money she stole from us, all the possessions, all the heartache, everything. So it's time to dig deeper spiritually, let go of the grief, the emotional pain, take better care of myself, and get more rest. That's what I'm doing for my cancer. Not a fistful of supplements, not this drug, that drug, cut this, poke that. Denise is cleaning up her life. And I am going to keep you posted on my video diary. And this is why I'm so passionate about the Brides of Eden. I was healthy as a bear when I fled my home with a child in my arms. I had recovered my fertility and had a baby at 47 because of health foods. And when I fled my home and turned to a food bank for help, they gave me sugar, dairy, expired meat, lots of bread, sweets. Kill me again diet. So for those families who need it, I want to provide Eden-based foods.
I need to do something first.
Love you, honey.